Okay. Um. So yesterday I saw the new Superman movie. And it seems that once again, um, the entire public seems to have seen a completely different movie than I did, because overwhelmingly positive, or at the very least, mid reviews. And not to just harp on other people's reviews, because I will get to my actual own thoughts on it. Um, but one of the top reviews on Letterboxd currently says that it is cut from the same cloth as Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, which I feel is completely unacceptable to say about a movie that is such a fucking mess. Like, has no idea where it wants its focus to be. I think Sam Raimi's Spider-Man specifically is such a focused movie. You know, you have the Peter Parker high school story, and you have Green Goblin, and it's like high school drama, superhero movie. But I mean, this Superman movie, I think, just completely buckles under the weight of establishing a whole new universe, as we have seen time and time again with these companies trying to establish new extended universes. They're trying to see what is interesting to the audience. Like, oh, do you guys like Nathan Fillion's Green Lantern, or do you guys like the Hawk Girl? Do you like it's like, crowd testing all these different characters to see which one gets the most clicks, so to see which one gets the most spin-off movies. It all feels so very cynical, and I don't know. They think they have it down to a science, but they really don't, because I think this movie doesn't operate at all as its own movie. I think a lot of people are watching it and saying, "Oh, I'm so excited to see where the DCU goes. I'm so excited to see what James Gunn does with the DCU." And I just feel like I would be excited if this were a good movie. I think before the movie, in the lead up, about a week before this movie came out, I was starting to get excited for it, because I was thinking it is kind of cool that James Gunn has basically a clean slate. It feels a little bit like, 2008 Iron Man, where there's no real established format for what this movie has to be. So Superman could have been anything. I think it should have been a much more human story about Superman's upbringing. And it's really not. All right, let me get into the plot. So if you care about spoilers for this movie, then don't keep watching. But the movie starts at the most baffling point in the Superman mythos, because I think he's been Superman for a few years. There's a text scroll type intro that explains that he's been Superman for a few years, and that this is the first time he's been beat in a fight, in a fight that we don't see. We see him crash land, which, I don't know, could have been an interesting way to start a movie, with a fight scene rather than a text scroll on a white background. I don't know, just a thought. But anyway, yeah, it starts with Superman already established, which I don't really understand, because I get when if a movie the new Spider-Man reboot wants to forego showing the origin story. I get that, because culturally we've all seen that a bunch of times. But for a movie like this to forego the Superman origin story, which I know that we're like familiar with the basics of it, but you still have to, as a filmmaker, you still have to endear us to a character before like just doing all these like wacky adventures. Like, give us something at least. You start with him like dead and he gets revived by his robots, and then he's already like Lex Luthor already hates him, and he's already been dating Lois Lane for like 3 months, which is another like baffling decision, that you want us to be endeared to this romance, but you put us you place us in the most like just the most boring part of the relationship, where like they're still trying to figure out if a romance works. It's not fun to watch. Like I would have much rather seen a meet cute. First of all, I would have much rather seen a lot more Daily Planet, so that I can understand Clark Kent as a human being. Clearly that wasn't what James Gunn wanted to spend his time on. He wanted to fucking make a big CGI monster and a cute CGI dog, and forego establishing any characters in any meaningful way. You have what's his name, Jimmy Olsen, who has this like weirdly outdated like the fucking he's got this really horny woman that's like dating Lex Luthor, and but really wants Jimmy Olsen, keeps texting him like a fucking crazy girlfriend, and it's supposed to be big laughs because it's like, oh, she really wants Jimmy Olsen. It's so funny. Oh my god. It's like, felt like I was watching a movie from the 2000s with the fucking politics on that one. Jeez Louise. I don't even remember what I was talking about. I'm really rambling at this point. The Daily Planet shit, yeah, just wasn't anything. There was no like workplace drama, workplace comedy vibe that maybe could have been good for I don't know, a movie that makes you want to care about Superman and his friends. But there's a bunch of action set pieces that are just like baffling to look at. I mean, it really kind of feels like we have learned nothing from like the decades of superhero fatigue that we've been seeing, where like I don't know, it really is just fucking two big CGI shits running into each other, and like you can't tell what's going on. There's a scene where Superman has to break out of like a cross-dimensional prison, and he's like drowning in this sea of like pixelated like galaxy print shit, and he's holding a CGI baby above his head, and he's about to get sucked into a black hole. I'm not even kidding. I'm describing to you exactly what is a scene in this movie, and it's like the most mishmash ugly shit to look at. And yeah, I don't know, all of the action just felt completely weightless, just because like I don't know, none of it felt real. I think in order for there to feel like there were actual stakes, we would have had to set up some humans in this world, like make it so that, I mean, they kind of try to do this with the there's a falafel cart guy who's apparently friends with Superman, or that he likes Superman, and they kind of try to endear him to us in a way where, like, you know, in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, the New Yorkers are always like, yeah, you get him, Spidey, in that kind of way. But I don't know, everything is introduced so quickly and on to the next thing. It's really like I guess it's just a symptom of, like, you know, a TikTok brain rot type edit. But yeah, it feels like every time that they try to add stakes to something, it's all introduced too little, too late. This also goes for Clark's parents. Um, it happens so late in the movie that we're introduced to them. He has to. God, I don't even remember why. He has to go back to Kansas for some reason. He goes back to his childhood bedroom with Lois, and basically his parents have to nurse him back to health. And but it's like an hour into the movie, and it's like, I don't know these parents' characters. You expect me to... and I don't really even know Clark. I don't know what he was like as a kid. I don't know him, what his upbringing was like. Like, I'm not going to be automatically endeared to these characters. Like, do a scene where I get some kind of idea of what he's like as a human being, which never happens. The movie is constantly moving at 3,000 miles per hour from one set piece to the next. Like, you have no moments to breathe with Clark. You kind of have this interesting interview moment in the beginning where he's being interviewed by Lois Lane, and it's like supposed to be like a cheeky kind of romantic scene, I think. I don't know. It also kind of seems like she's genuinely grilling him about his actions in Baravia. But I don't know. The vibe in that scene is really confusing. But it is like kind of the only moment where you get to see Clark Kent and Lois Lane being human together. But it's not enough. I'm not interested in that dynamic at all. Anyway, it also like kind of makes a like really weak attempt at making a political statement, I guess, because there's a conflict between two nations that I think could be seen as Israel and Palestine, or Russia and Ukraine. I don't know, but it tries to, I guess if you want to interpret it that way, it kind of tries to place Superman as a supporter of Palestine, which I thought was gonna be a little bit interesting for a while. This happens in the interview scene with Lois, and he talks about how, like, yeah, this country was being invaded, so I had to step in and stop the oppressor. But then that kind of just devolves in the end to, like, I thought that was going to be a one-off comment and we could just be like, oh yeah, Superman's pro-Palestine, that's cool. But no, that becomes like a plot point in the end that Lex Luthor is waging a war in, I guess, the Middle East, perhaps? I don't know. Whatever. And then he sends in, Superman just sends in the Green Lantern and Hawkgirl and just Green Lantern and Hawkgirl. He sends them in, and yeah, oh my God, it's like a little kid raising a flag so that Superman will come and save them, and fucking Nathan Fillion walks in and blows up a bunch of tanks. Ugh. Fucking huge eye roll. Yeah, it felt like maybe their politics were in the right place until that happened, and it was like, after that it felt like, well, yeah, I mean, some ragtag American group is gonna come save the day. Cool. Awesome. And then there's a clip near the end that I think is really telling of where... Well, hold on. First, I want to say, I think in order for any political commentary of that kind to be made, you would have to show involvement of the US government. You know what I mean? Like, it feels really empty if you're willing to, show this caricature of maybe Netanyahu, maybe Putin, like this guy is like a warlord, like maniacal guy. So you're willing to show that, but you need to also, like, you can't just do that. You have to be damning of the American government. And James Gunn, obviously he's not, they're not gonna go that far with it. So what the fuck is the point of even putting that in there, of claiming that Superman is punk rock because he's pro-Palestine or pro-Ukraine or whatever it may be? What's the point of doing that if you're not gonna, like, admit some involvement of American warlords? Like, you're not saying shit. You are dipping your toes in political commentary without actually doing anything. I don't know. It all felt so fucking disingenuous. And then, so near the end, I think you can kind of get an idea of where James Gunn's head's at, because he has his brother Sean Gunn going into the or he's doing like a TV interview, and he's like, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, at least we all know that we hate Lex Luthor. And I think all semblance of political commentary is out the door at that moment, because you're just gonna put all onus of all war onto this, like, admittedly, I think the movie even would admit that is like a mustache twirling type villain, Lex Luthor, in this movie. He's not deep. I don't think he needs to be deep, but like he is, like, he's a guy that stands in a tower and like shouts at people, it's not like they're making a comparison between him and, Bezos or Musk or anything like that. He's just a villain. And to blame all the world's problems on just this cartoon villain means that you're not saying anything. And frankly, yeah, I'm not saying that it needed to be a political movie, but you kind of made it a political movie when you made a little mention of it in the fucking beginning. Oh, it just sucked. And I can forgive a lot if, like, if I'm interested in something visually, I can forgive a lot. If I'm enjoying what I'm looking at, like if the action scenes are solid, if the characters are funny, there are no funny characters. People are gonna love Crypto, but literally the only reason that you love Crypto, look inside yourself. The only reason that you love Crypto is because he is a dog. That is the only thing that James Gunn knows how to do, is to put a CGI character on the screen, and you're gonna automatically love it because it maybe looks like your dog. That's all he does. And he's gonna put the dog in peril, and you're gonna automatically... It's just such a disingenuous trick. Like, make me care about the fucking people that you're showing me. Because frankly, I don't give a shit about this CGI dog that looks horrible. Like, it looks really bad. I don't think that maybe if it was a puppet it would have been cooler, but I can't give a shit about a CGI dog. I'm sorry. Or a fucking CGI alien baby. I don't know. People are saying it's like it's the most accurate representation of a comic book we've ever seen on screen. Wow, I never seen something ripped from the comic book pages so directly. That's just not the case. I think if you look back at like any early aughts superhero movie before they became, just like big gray MCU slop. Like, they were having goofy fun with it, and they were doing it in a more effective way than this, because it felt like they were having to prove something. Like, they were having to introduce you to these characters, and they didn't like have a built-in fan base that they could just be like, yeah, it's Superman. That's what this movie feels like. It feels like James Gunn is just like, yeah, fucking, I just gave you, look at the screen, you dummy. It's just a big blue guy zipping around. He shoots his lasers. He does his things. It's what you fucking pigs have always wanted. Eat the slop, you pigs. You've always wanted your Superman to be goofy. I gave you the opposite of the Zack Snyder movie, which, for the record, I don't even really care. I don't care about the Zack Snyder movies at all. I haven't seen them in a long time, but I'm not a guy that's like attacking this movie because I love Zack Snyder. I don't give a shit. I just want to watch a good movie. And this one pissed me off.